I want you to know that rap bastard has had me up at 4 a.m. in my studio to do a TV gig. I do not look pretty at 4 a.m. Not at 6, not at 8. It's the dancer's rule. I'm here tonight, and it's a great honor to be with Kathy and Tim and Helene and the multitude of people. Barbara, thank you for being here. You are ever so entertaining. As an artist, when they say you want to talk about connections, there are a lot of options. And I thought hard, and Kim kept harassing me with these emails. What's the name of your story? And I kept thinking, I haven't decided. So I called it, what did he say? Did you hear what he said? I don't know what he said because I didn't know what I was going to talk about until this morning. I was at the studio and I was thinking about connections, and I was thinking about the people coming up here, and I was thinking about what this is about kids. And half my life is spent with children, and I love them, and they're miracles. And I get the kids that often have the good road, and ForKids get the kids who have the bad road. And it made me think, how can I make a story that is both positive and also effective in a financially fundraising way? Because we love ForKids. I gotta say, they're the best email bombers ever. Do you agree? ForKids every day in my email. I love you. I never forget the kids. 2 years ago, a woman named Melissa Zaletsky comes into my studio. She's probably as petite as Mary Martin, if any of you remember her. I'm old. And she has this pixie haircut, something like Sandy Duncan as Peter Pan. And she comes into my office and she says this phrase I will never forget. Our grandson Gus came to us with Down syndrome. Came to us with Down syndrome. And I stopped in my little head that is like Robin Williams, not healthy. And this woman stopped me in my tracks with my grandson Gus came to us with Down syndrome. And I discovered on the internet, which we all know is true, although this part is true, she had discovered a program for children with Down syndrome at Boston Ballet. It was a one-of-a-kind scenario, and she had entered my space thinking in her head with her little pixie, really chic haircut with this woman with the energy like a chihuahua. I always thought I'd come by and ask if you might have any interest of teaching children with Down syndrome. It was about that long that I was quiet. And I said, with the disease, and I don't know whether it's from my gene pool or whether I caught it in a virus, I said, yes, I'd love that, without knowing anything. We had a conversation where she gave me a lot of information from the Boston Ballet, some of which I thought was great and some of which I knew already to be true. And I said, I'd love to do this. How do we do this? How do we make this happen? I don't know how to say no. In my head, I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Time goes by. We've arranged the class. The Hampton Roads Down Syndrome Association had brought together 15 beautiful, incredible children who are arriving on one day. And if you have ever been a director of dance or a choreographer or a teacher, you look for the most talented children, the ones that have the most possibilities. You look for those that gleam and shine. And coming to me were these children that shined in a different way. And I was terrified. I had an hour to spend with them on my first day. And they came into this room each parent beaming, sitting at the windows, glaring at me from second floor, first floor, 15 children, 5 helpers, a physical therapist, and Todd. With a game plan, but without any proof that any of it worked. In the first 10 minutes, I exhausted every single trick I had up my sleeve. And as I looked at the clock with a smile on my face, the tears welled up in my eyes. And I thought, what the hell am I going to do with these children for 50 more minutes? As they were rolling around on the floor, looking in the mirror, wrapping themselves in the curtains, flipping their chairs over, despite the 6 helpers and the physical therapist, I thought, what am I going to do? And I went to the CD player, and there was this delicious CD by Pink Martini that had a song called, oh, bless its little heart, Popsicle Toes. And I put it on, and I said, now it's time to dance with Todd. And I took each child out of their chair in this circle and took their hands and looked them in the eye, and I guided them to the right and to the left and far apart and close together, and we spun around and we bowed. And each child's face lit up like it was Broadway, like it was the Tonys, like I had put them out there somewhere that I could not have dreamed of. And the next week I thought, I've got to figure out something more to do. One child sat in the corner for 8 weeks of class until Ambria came out to sit in her chair. One mother came to me on a morning about 7 weeks into our 10-week session and said, we had a great big day at our house this morning. And I knew that it was not easy because they drove very far from North Carolina or the peninsula. It was amazing how far people would come. And I said, oh my goodness, is it your birthday? And she said, no, we had a 3-word sentence today. Dancing with Todd. And I tried to catch my breath, and being the gracious homosexual that I was, I tried not to cry. And I walked into that room, and that day it seemed like the class learned to pay attention. It seemed like that day when we had right foot red tape, left foot blue. There was no tape on their heads or no tape on their nipples, which seemed to be a popular thing for them to do with their very magic tape. How did they know? And I thought to myself, this could be a change. This is something where now they walk into the studio and they see each other and they beam. And they see me, and they know that that day is going to be filled with movement and joy and friendship. And it was something I never expected. And one day we had had our first session, and we had come back for the second session, and we had a lot of repeat offenders, as you could only imagine, as I was. And this woman comes up to me, and I said, oh my goodness, Eleanor, look at how big he is. I don't want them to grow up. And she looked at me with a beautiful crooked smile and said, don't worry, they won't. And I realized that the connection that those children have to each other, that they have to dance, that they have to music, that they have to my live percussionist, that they have to dancing with Todd, which has expanded to dancing with each other. Not one parent has ever gone to have coffee or go to the mall or to miss 1 minute in that window in 2 years as their children dance. And I thought, this is enough. Enough for me, enough for an artist, and way more than their parents ever dreamed. That's my story.